What do you do when a soap batch fails? Is there anything you can do with it? Is there any way to still use it, or do you have to just throw it away? What if it's super ugly? What if it tests hot on the pH scale? What can we do? In this video today, I'm going to show you one final idea on ways that you can repurpose a failed soap batch. And today we're going to talk about soaps that are fully cured. They test okay on the pH scale. They're testing between an 8 and a 10 on the pH scale, but they're just super ugly for whatever reason, and you would like to cover that ugliness with something else. Today we're going to make felted soaps. And if you're looking for some other ideas on ways to repurpose those failed soap batches, check out the other videos in this series. There's a couple other ideas on ways that you can repurpose that soap. You never have to throw soap batter away. Even if it's super ugly, it boils over, whatever, there's always something you can do with it. And I share those ideas in our other videos. But today, grab your coffee and let's make some felted soap together. Felted soap is a unique goat milk soap, or a unique soaped product. It's a great gift if you have people who you know are already into natural handmade soaps, or goat milk soap in particular. This might be something they haven't seen. It's beneficial because you use it just like this. It has this wool covering on the outside. And people ask me all the time, how did you sew it in there? We're not going to sew it in there at all. It's one piece all around the soap. And when you use it just like this. And the wool provides a little bit of exfoliation to your hands or wherever you're using it to help keep that skin very soft and smooth. It's great for the winter months if you're in and out of the house and you're going from cold air to warm air and hands tend to dry out in that case. It's even good in the summer if you're doing gardening or yard work that tends to dry out your hands. This is a great tool for helping keep that skin in great shape. It's also great for people who have never experienced soaps. It's just something unique and fun and a little bit different that you might find a lot of use for, and it seems to be quite popular also with our customers. You might find this as a great way to cover up those ugly soaps and make them beautiful ones once again. So, what do you need if you are going to felt your soaps? We have found that round soaps are the easiest to felt because there aren't any square corners that you need to cover, but it's possible to felt any shape soap. So if you have some round soaps, those are good things to practice on. They're good first felting experience soaps. They just work a little bit easier. But if you have a square soap or a rectangular soap, or even one with kind of a formed top, we're going to cut off the formed top, but we can absolutely use this soap and get that covering on it as well. Let me just take a moment and just cut off that formed top. So now it's more of a rectangle. That will be a little bit easier to felt. Again, just slicing through and getting rid of that formed top. And it doesn't matter if there are some divots or voids. That's okay. We'll deal with those in a little bit. All right, so let's start with our round soap. The other thing that you're going to need is some high quality wool roving. This is we have this available at sassysoapers.com. You can go there and check out our different selections. This is bright colors. We have greens, there's browns, there's naturals. I'm using the naturals today for this project. But you can find all different colors there, and it's very important that you have a high quality wool roving that you are working with. When I was first felting, I tried the synthetic stuff from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or other places, and it just didn't work very well. When I switched over to the high quality merino wool, it is a completely different thing. It was a very frustrating process with the other stuff. This makes it super simple. So get a high quality wool roving. If you don't have a place where you can go to get that, check it out at sassysoapers.com. This is $14 a box, and it has enough to do at least a dozen soaps, maybe more. So let's dive into this. I'm going to start with a round soap here, and I'm going to choose, like I said, I'm working with these natural colors. So I'm going to work over here a minute. I'm just gonna take this wool, and it's important when you're getting a chunk of wool to not cut it. We're gonna just pull it apart. These are wool fibers. They're not continuous strands, so see, you can just kind of pull it apart like that and have those wispy ends. The wispy ends will felt into this project so much easier than a cut end will. So you just want to pull off some little chunks. I'm going to pull off chunks of a couple different colors here. I have this neat gray, and then a little bit more of my black. Now I'm using the Natural Colors box. This had 6 blobs of 3 different colors of wool. In the, like if you get this one's called Passion. It has 6 different colors. So just check it out on the website and you'll see what colors are gonna come in the kit that you choose. So here we go now. We're gonna start kind of stacking this up. And basically we wanna make, envision yourself building a little cloud around your soap. That's kind of what it feels like too. And you want to spread the wool out till it's wispy like that, and then just lay it over top. These wisps are going to make the soap have kind of a marbled effect, which is what we're going for here. And I put a couple on the bottom there. So I'm just building my little building my little soap cloud here. Also, as you kind of spread it apart like that, that will have, the fibers will felt together more easily if they're spread apart and not in a chunk. I think I'm good just like this. All right, so now I have a little poof on top and a little poof on bottom. So now we're gonna start. This bowl is warm water. This is warm to the touch. This is cold. Okay, so you need a bowl of each, and then a place for the soaps to dry. So now I'm just gonna sprinkle some water on top of this. These fibers are very delicate, and they're so thin that they'll stick to your finger if they're not wet. So you just have to kind of pat them around, just kind of get them stuck together here so that they stick to each other more than they stick to you. And when you can see the edge of the soap through the wool, flip it over. Now we're going to do the other side. When you flip it over, if you see that you've got a thin spot, and I do see that I have one, now is a time where you can add a little bit to it. It's a little like working with cotton candy, so just be patient. It'll want to stick to you a little bit. That's all right. I'm just patting it. It's getting wet. I'm just helping it kind of absorb all the way around. There we go. All right, and now we're going to start working these edges. Same kind of thing. We just want to get all that wool wet, and we will want it to overlap on the edges. So just kind of work with it a little bit there. And the wetter it gets, the more it will kind of smush in, and it'll work out okay. Okay. Keep adding the water to here. Work the top, work the bottom, and then I see I have like these little chunks they got a little thick, so I'm just going to spread them out quick before and they can go over the edge. That's all right. All right. Once this is wet enough that it feels secure, like it's not going to just go sliding around on the soap, start to rub the top, rub the bottom. You can kind of rub it with your other hand and then turn it to get the sides. Now the covering will feel a little loose to start off with. Felting, as you rub it, will get tighter and tighter. And this is the fun part about a felted soap, is as you use the soap obviously shrinks in the middle because you're using it up. And the wool will continue to felt. It will continue to shrink around the soap that's getting smaller, so it will stay tight. And in the end, the soap will be used up, and you'll have just a little wool blob left. And if it's a natural merino wool, that wool is compostable, so you can get rid of it if you'd like to, or you can use it as an exfoliating blob for your face, or to clean out a sink, or there's a lot of different things you can do with it. Okay, I've got a lot of soap lather here. People ask me all the time, does your soap lather? Well, there you go. All right, so now we're going to dunk this in the warm water. And now that wool will feel loose again. So now just keep rubbing, keep working on those edges. Any place that kind of loosened up when you dunked it, focus there. Spend a little bit more time there. But I can feel this is feeling tighter and tighter around the soap all the time. As I work on the top and the bottom, the edges get loose. And as I work on the edges, the top and the bottom get loose. Just keep working around until it feels secure all the way around the soap. All right, I am content with this. You don't want to take it too far, because then the soap is super tight. I'm sorry, the wool is super tight, and then it doesn't have any body to it after it dries. So now we're going to dip it in the cold water. This shocks the fibers and just kind of locks them in place. And if you need to do that a couple times just to kind of rinse out the fibers, that's okay. And now I'm just going to hold it and let it drip. And now, as it's dripping here, you could put it on a cooling rack, or you could just put it on a soft towel, and we'll let it dry there. So that is a felted soap. It will take a couple of days to dry, but it doesn't need any cure time because the soap is already cured. And this should be it should have a little bit of poof to it when it's done. If you get done with yours and later on you come back and go, oh, there's a hole, or there's something else that isn't as great, like I can actually see a soap hole right there, you can always come back, just choose a little bit more fiber and just redo this, cover up that spot, felt in those edges, and that will be just fine. So it's a very forgiving project. You can fix any holes that you need to if you find them later on. Now, let's go to the square soaps we were working on here. This is a little bit, my hands are really slimy, imagine that. So this is going to take a little bit more wool than the round ones because we need to have a thick enough poof on it. Our cloud needs to be thick enough to cover the corners. So it's just going to take a little bit more than the round one did. Remember to pull those fibers apart. Maybe even make a little bit longer fiber sections so that this can go around the whole soap instead of just focusing on the top and the bottom. There we go. Now you can see I'm started here, but my corners are still showing. So let me grab some more. And I think I'm gonna kind of go diagonal with these just to focus on those corners. And you can decide with this wool, it's so like wispy that it makes kind of a marbled effect, like I was saying, but you can decide, do you want it to be more like there's sections of it, or do you want it to kind of marble all together? Either way is fine. That's just part of the design. Okay. All right, that feels pretty good. I don't feel any of the soap sticking through. So let's go ahead and start with our getting that wool wet. First you get it wet and then you pat it just to help that wool absorb. Once that side is good, we're going to flip it over, adjust anything you need to adjust. And then start to think about those edges. My edges are pretty loose and floppy here, but that doesn't bother me with this square soap. That's going to give me plenty to work with to make sure those corners are covered. Remember, if it starts to look blobby in any place, you'll want to stop and just kind of work that blob down. Give that a little extra attention. even pull it apart just to make it more wispy again and not so it's too bunched up in any one spot. All right, this is getting tighter. One little spot I need to spread out. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dunk it. And again, anything that got loose, just spend a little bit more time rubbing and patting. Even if you get to this point and you say, this has a lot of white on the top. I kind of was hoping for a little bit more color. More color will show through later because this has all the soap foam too. But you could add, hold on. You could add just a few wisps. Oh, it would work better if my hands weren't wet. Hold on. Let me try that again. Just take a couple wisps of one of your colors and just felt that in. There we go. I think I'll do it on the back too. And then same thing, just kind of pat it in, get it wet, start rubbing, and that changed the color of that soap a bunch. And now we'll just go back. The wool has barbs on the side of the fibers, kind of like a bird's feather. And when you're felting like this, when you're rubbing them, you're zipping those fibers together so that they make a solid whole. So when people look at your felted soap and say, how did you get that soap in there? It just shows that they don't really understand the process. We didn't get the soap in there. We created the wool covering around the soap. That top layer needs just a little bit more to help it. So now you can see, like, the soap bar had some little divots and stuff. Those don't show at all. So no worries about that. All right. Dip it one more time. There, that's looking pretty good. One last little rub all over. This one is going to be nice. I can feel that the wool covering here is just a little bit thicker than it was on my first one. That's going to look nice. It's going to make a nice puffy wool covering and make it look nice when you're giving it as a gift or when you're offering it for sale or when you're using it yourself. All right, this is feeling really secure. It's not super, super tight, but just loose enough that I feel like it will look nice. So we'll go ahead and stick it in the cold water and just let that sit a second. And now we just let it drip dry. Drip, drip, drain, I guess. There we go. And now we'll just let it sit so that it will dry. If you're putting it on a towel like this, you're going to need to move it a few times. Like these other ones have made a really wet spot on the towel. I'll need to move them to a dry spot to help them dry a bit better. But these will be dry and ready to label in just a couple of days. So they're a really quick turnaround and a really fun way to repurpose soaps that just needed a little cosmetic makeover. Felting soaps is a great way to bring new life to soaps that are maybe just kind of blah, or have some kind of cosmetic issue that they just need a little help being pretty. So just a great way to repurpose those soaps. If you are looking for other ideas on things to do with your failed soap batch, those soaps that they're not going to work the way they are, we need to repurpose them in some way, check out the other videos in this series. The link to the beginning of the series is above me now. You can check out those videos and just get some ideas on how to use soap shreds or how to rebatch, or just other things that you can do to repurpose those failed soap batches. Also, if you would like to try felting soaps, I would love to hear how that experience went for you. Remember, you can check out the high quality merino wool at our website, which is sassysoapers.com. And you can check it out there and make sure you're getting good stuff for your very first felting experience. And then let me know in the comments, have you felted soap before? Do you think you would enjoy learning to felt soap or giving it a try? And especially if you grab the wool and you give it a try, I would love to know how that experience goes for you. So let me know in the comments how this goes, and I would love to see your felted soaps. We'll see you there.